So, the first thing that comes to mind when it comes to kids with complex trauma is how much they are misunderstood, right? I grew up in a dysfunctional family system too, so that's where I developed CPTSD or complex trauma. Except for that, we didn't know it was CPTSD. It was called CPTSD or complex trauma till I became an adult. I'm now 40, by the way. When people hear the word trauma, they automatically form these ideas about trauma and what traumatized people do and not do, and it's usually very negative. Kids who have complex trauma, these kids, including myself when I was a kid, can and do develop a certain type of sensitivities. Or maybe instead of calling these sensitivities, they're actually insights that are off limits to people. Well, not completely, but often off limits to people that didn't have to go through what these kids or we had to go through. One thing that really stands out for me is that we can get really sensitive to power dynamics. Like, we can pick up on who's in control, who's trying to be in control, who's trying to take control, who's upset, who's real, who's fake, and all the little social cues that most people completely miss or just ignore. They probably see it, I'm sure they do, but it doesn't click the same way. I hate to say this, but I think non-traumatized people, but when I say non-traumatized people, I also include people that don't know that they've been through trauma. So non-traumatized people might be wrapped up in their own worlds. And us complex trauma kids over here are wrapped up in figuring out all the hidden dynamics, right? Like, because it's a survival thing. So we try to figure out how to eject when shit hits the fan. For example, who is safe and who is unsafe, who is fake, who is real. It's not that we're overreacting or being overtly sensitive, it's because some of us have deeper insights into how people and things actually operate. And the ones that have deeper insights into how people and things actually operate are obviously the more observant and the more analytical ones. So, with all this observation and analysis, right? What's actually tricky for us is that our intense emotion gets into the way. So, it actually, with our intense emotions, despite our, sharp observations and analysis, it really makes it hard for us to express the insight, the observations in ways that other people may see as socially acceptable. Whatever that we need to or wish to present, it does needs to be socially acceptable, right? We don't need to make other people way too uncomfortable. Unfortunately, that's usually the case. I mean, that was definitely my case, and that is still sometimes my case. That's something that I have to work on my own, right? So, yes, we do, or we might lash out, we might freeze, we might fawn, we might get anxious. But underneath that all, a lot of us are reading the room on a level that most people don't even know exists. That's my point. So, yes, next time before we judge another person who's either struggling or if they're in recovery or seems to be calling some shit out that nobody else gives a fuck about, maybe consider how others might have the key. You know what I'm saying? Just because someone might be extremely quiet or someone might seem, I don't know, sometimes emotionally volatile, they might actually have a point. So the point here is just drop the judgment and just see what the other person is trying to say.